Хей, йоу, дорогие мои друзья, с вами Мунлайт и добро пожаловать на стрим по Disco Elysium. Будем сегодня продолжать прохождение этой прекрасной игры, смотреть, что нас ждет в порту, и продолжать наше расследование и становление личностью. В общем, дорогие мои друзья, несите чаек, кофеёк, всякие вкусняшки, которые вы там любите, устраивайтесь поудобнее. Мы начинаем. И у меня куда-то меню свинтилось. Вот оно. То есть, если нажать Escape, пропадает все, вот такая вот красивая заставочка, да? Это, конечно, здорово, но нам совершенно бесполезно. А почему тут день 1, 11:27, а тут день 1, 16:39? Или мы что? Как это вообще получилось? Ладно, давайте последний автосейв будем загружать. Блин, мне эта музыка напомнила спор. Да, вообще вроде ничего общего. Поехали. Мы приперлись в порт. Это последнее, что я помню. Зачем мы сюда приперлись, непонятно. Но тут сидит он какой-то хмырь. Чучело рыбы, из которого сделали часы.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you. With great effort,
более убогий портрет ему нарисовать нельзя было. Просто...
He simply stares at you. With a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat.
А мы тут уже были, да?
I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez.
Дебардеров? А кто такие дебардеры?
I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Подхилиться на всякий пожарный.
By the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You
25? 25? Мне 130 надо.
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real piece of work, that boy is.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least, don't thank him for it.
Don't mention it. But also, don't forget it. I'm just kidding, of course.
Я не хотел, чтобы мне вот такой вот человек подмигивал.
He's not.
Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak.
Так, а я смотрю, о нас тут все известно, да? Что мы, кто мы, чтобы просрали пистолет.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear
Мне
is an
кажется, мы
echo.
тут покутили.
Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only two words escape its gravitational pull. Lost. When he said, "Don't worry," he actually meant, "Be very worried."
I know everything, Harry. Right now, I know that you're worried. Don't be worried. Everything's going to be all right.
Аж Катюш на соседнем континенте, слушай.
It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need Mr. Clare's help with this.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Ну это же...
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are gonna shoot themselves with it.
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
What is this Mr. Dubois he keeps repeating? What is he trying to pull here?
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry!
Пусть продолжит стекать по стулу, как алкожеле.
Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of water or something?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him.
О, у меня теперь есть
He's
цель.
Mr. Dubois.
Накликаться так, чтобы стать алкожеле. Сомнительная цель. Я таю.
Don't be dramatic. I can see your condition is...
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was...
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a...
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together. It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
Я расследую ваше подозрительное варево.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information, we could blow this thing wide open.
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines, incredibly talented at opening doors. And I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colors, Harry.
An excellent opportunity presents itself, sire. You could win the trust of the arch liar, pretend to play into his hand. Then, should you wish, bend his efforts towards your own.
Oh, no one's. It's just a weasel. A weasel lives there. Nothing for you to worry about. A loud blabbering weasel. When weasels feel no one is watching, they start acting foolishly. Just go there, unlock the door, and leave it open. It's been such a burden on me, Harry. I just want this to be over so I can discuss business with you. Harry, I'm a very busy man, and more importantly, I don't have that extraordinary physique you do. You look like you could run a...
You want to send someone a message that the police are working for you.
I repeat, I'm a very, very busy man, Mr. Kitsuragi, and therefore I must occasionally enlist outside help. So what will it be, Harry? Fantastic, my
Допустим.
friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can take our friendship to the next level. You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free
Почему?
agent in the
Потому что
Union.
ответ прост, Вака. Ты
Special
хотела, чтобы я
operations,
стримил,
hardened
чтобы
socialist,
я
a real free
стримил то,
thinker
что мне
too.
нравится? Я стримлю,
He'll
что мне
tell you
нравится.
precisely where the door
Ты
is.
была уверена, что это
One
будет
last
лучше,
thing,
чем
Harry.
Геншин. Вот, наслаждайся.
Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door.
Приветствую. Добро.
I don't know what that means, Harry. Shady brew? There are You know what? Don't even tell me. Whatever it is, do it. Surprise me. Just one thing. If you...
He sincerely has no idea what you were talking about, and he doesn't care.
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbour. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them. Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I...
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every playground. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just...
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me... My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac cop, aren't you? What are the odds of that?
I think the odds of that are very low.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion. I mean, see what his game is.
I assure you, there's nothing to be ashamed of, Harry. You're among friends, and the good news is... I have a big fat folder on you, Harry. I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask. I'm sure you had some concerns.
Нормально, они
you thought I might be
подготовились
able to
так.
address. And you are probably right. I can.
It's just a brown folder. You can't make out what's...
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity.
Don't just jump to the folder. That's not smart. Shows you're on the edge. Do some probing first. Everard's large hands.
Да ладно,
cover the
серьезно,
folder.
что ли?
but the look on his face says, I know everything about you, Harry.
Oh, Harry. Oh, wow. This is really something.
I'm sure it's not that bad. At worst, he has an old RCM folder, and I very much doubt even that.
So how about it, Harry? You need assistance, I presume? Ah, this? My friends in your organization gave it to me, Harry.
This translates into, haha, you guys are so corrupt.
I find that very suspicious.
I'm afraid this is meant for union eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Please continue, Harry.
Продолжите осматривать покупки свой быстро смотреть стрим. Кире вчера. Я не могу тратить деньги. Тоже Кире. Буду продолжать осматривать покупки СВБ.
Harry, you're not simply a cop, you're a star. A bright shining star in the drab law enforcement sky, outshining all other stars. You're a superstar. Of course I do, Harry. And I'm gonna help you shine. I'm gonna put you on all the big stages, your name in giant neon letters. Harry Dubois.
He's probably just making a guess based on your recent activity in Martinez.
It's Harry. Harry Dubois. Don't be silly, Harry. Harry Dubois, that's a real man's name. A union man's. Mr. Kitsuragi doesn't seem even slightly empathetic to your memory loss, Harry. However... Of course, Harry, of course. Let's not linger on personal details and amnesia. You wanted... Honestly, I didn't want to bring it up, Harry. I heard you have become Measurehead's race pupil? Of course, Harry, of course. You're not some kind of a fantastic racist now. No one's gonna know what you did with race there, Harry. Your race bonanza is safe with me. Word of how racy it got will never leave. Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it. Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate. Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white union man. Take care, Harry.
As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you squint. From a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. They squint at lights, and they solve shit. Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop, Dick Mullen. Salam Rocky Baye, badass on the edge disco cop. Time to recede into a ludicrous fantasy world. Here we go. Camera, lights. With a sudden flash, the world freezes around you, and you along with it. In an iconic
У нас же уже вроде бы был этот диалог, нет? Минус 2 логик на время исследования. Ну, нет. Одну очку навыков. Я не могу изучать, потому что у меня все вот эти 3 заняты. А даже вон как. То есть мне нужно открывать и накидывать своеобразные идеи. Да. Так, тут у нас вообще есть то, что? Так, что-то надо было изучать. Интуиция HPO, чувствовать других. Давайте, наверное, эмпатию вкачаем. Ага, на полицейскую волну уже не хватает. Вообще можно было бы тут что-то еще покачать, но... Ладно, пусть пока так будет. Проход-то был. А, ну тут мы контейнер опустили, его открыть нельзя, конечно же, да?
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything,
Риторика.
it seems to have
Убедить
grown.
дверь открыться. Просто стоять перед дверью и умолять ее открыться. Вот это наш метод. Большинство людей уже спать в 21, ну или немного позже. Так, а у кого мне надо было там взять? Возьмите у «Зови меня Манана» ключ от квартиры стукача. А где у нас этот «Зови меня Манана»?
So,
А, ну вот
how'd you
он.
like our harbor?
Так тут маньяна.
You've been in there, he means. Talked to the boss man too, probably.
It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains. Right. You talk to the boss, eye to eye, like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk. A key, huh? What door is this key supposed to open? Oh, say no more. I got you. I got that key right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say.
Открываю дверь не для себя, я делаю это для всего рабочего класса. А потом второго повешенного на дереве найдем, да?
I'm not so sure about the hustle grind, but what you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind
Дверь
the
в
whirling
подвал за
rides.
теплицей, что на
That's all I
заднем
know.
дворе танцев крепкие.
Our
Это все, что я
organization is
знаю,
what you
наша
call
организация как
compartmentalized. Means we keep out of each other's business.
Okay, but where did you get the key from?
The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter. None of
Просто
this
не к Новому
mess
году
with this
развесить.
jiving and juggling. What's it for? To feed our children, I guess. I'm more of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are.
He means he's not going to tell you cause he doesn't know. But he will shoot his mouth off with you now that you're working for
We're negotiating our share. Aye. All of it. However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the company's board, so they could take part.
This seditious talk sounds like communism. Just so we're on the same page, communism is basically wanting to kill the rich people or deporting them to a labor camp in southeast Grad. But don't say that out loud if you're a communist.
No. I don't think I'm a communist. Seeing something of value and saying I want it all to myself is a much older and simpler notion. No science to it at all. Even a weak child can think it. The only things holding someone back are I can't and I shouldn't. Just the way the world works, boyadero. I think it's best you make up your own mind now that you've met him. In my eyes, he is a capable organizer and a decent businessman. I guess you kind of get to be the village chief. He oversees the harbor, makes deals with the owners or other relevant parties, watches out for his own.
By that, you mean corruption?
By heavens, why would he not be corrupt? We live in a harsh and disordered world, see? And in this world, the old man is corrupt for our benefit, and we know it. Appreciate it even. He is, personally, not too lavish. He is reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative. Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway. And moralism is the most.
This man has political theory, and it has not failed him today.
Sure, I've had the necessary free time. Fortunately, there's always time.
The look in his brown eyes conjures up an understanding. For him, it all comes together now. The way he speaks about scabs, his general attitude. He's a follower of a 500-year-old Franco-Nigerian Boyadero code, itself an appropriation, that of a noble peasant or a traveling herdsman. True to yourself, independent in your actions, loyal to your friends. No.
Я бы мог, но что если? Может быть, если только...
No. The man sits on the railing, his hands reaching far and wide. Yet it feels as if he could, effortlessly, go even wider, if need be. An endless...
The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do so?
The man whispers Hey. Psst. Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building. Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. Hasn't really worked out yet. But neither has love. Should we just stop building love, too?
Что, построим коммунизм?
So, what about all that communism you've promised to build? Word on the street is, you keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pockets, literally murder all human beings, regardless. Okay, not in so many words, but don't deny it. You're about to rip off that mask of social democracy and reveal the monstrous. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it?
Великий строитель коммунизма. Не.
Very well. I guess no one will build communism then. Tell the working man it's over, unless anyone has no objections. It's mathematically impossible to achieve a... Anyone? Anyone else? There's no one? There's no one. Okay then, lie down and let the water...
Блядь, что происходит? Когда логика с риторикой спорит, это, конечно, да. Так, за теплицей. Тут. Ну, теплица вот. А как попасть? Давайте попробуем обойти этот дом. Вот тут мы еще не были. Ну, здорово.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep?
Apparently, she doesn't like people standing behind her back. Logic error. She is not sleeping right now.
Pigs come to take me out, trying to snuff me out. Then why are you sneaking up on me like that? It's not a good idea to scare me, pig. Not a good idea.
Так. А, ну вот он, подвал.
This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a knocker shaped like a lion's head. The leather upholstery is worn and rough against your jaw. In fact, it's oddly silent in the yard around you. You knock silently. The upholstery muffles the...
I guess no one is in. Let's be honest. This isn't what I joined the RCM for, but every day tells you something new about yourself. Apparently, working with the local union boss to get info on an investigation is not something I'm squeamish about. I mind that the local thug is using the RCM for his busy work. But if this gets us to the bottom of this hanging, then I'm willing to... On the other hand, we could just leave and tell Evrat we opened the door. No one seems to be tailing us to see if we actually did it. Yes, presenting a fabrication is known to get results here and there. You took this task. You make the call.
The door is right here. You can just open it and be... You try to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling of the... Finally, the door unlocks with a small clack.
Жаль, что нельзя переключаться между персонажами.
What's that noise down there?
There must be another way into the building.
Что громко.
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
It's the voice of someone who has something to hide, my liege.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Is it really that important?
Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks at the neighboring window.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run. I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme. Do you have an estimate of when the body will be taken away?
We will remove the body as soon as possible. Now tell us.
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Wait, is someone else investigating the lynching?
No, not you. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
He's an actor declaiming a soliloquy. See how you hang on his every word.
You didn't answer the question.
I had a friend over. It was my Sunday friend.
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. In the neighboring windows, you can see faint reflections of his silhouette, all from...
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
That's definitely not his real name.
No, of course not. Could you please lower your voice? No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
Time to bring out your secret charm. Tears and begging. Show him your emotional side. Throw yourself before his very feet like a dog.
Не уходи, прошу, я прошу пить. Я буду выносить мусор, только умоляю, не бросай меня.
Trash?
Please don't go. I'll even stop smoking inside.
Listen, I really have to go. Good luck with the investigation.
Да сколько можно? Хватит заданий. Остановитесь. Я не успеваю их выполнять.
No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself. He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into There has to be a way of getting inside the building. Once we find...
А, это знак.
Hey, up here, piggo.
Ух, какой парус стоит.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted,
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual.
it happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group. Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has...
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This...
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say? Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Так это, слушай, даже факов взяли.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board. Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinet. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group. They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assumed that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slow... And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags...
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about...
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, call me mañana.
This checks out.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts... Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
Oh, heavens, no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Have you seen him? Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does. And when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The debarders are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we have...
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his
О,
brother.
Зю заявил. Нет. Но мы на пути. Лучшие люди Ревенштольда занимаются этим.
And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Debarders Union is...
А. Реваншоуля.
Indeed, and a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers. The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the Union refused?
Don't let her answer it herself.
If these strikebreakers were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work.
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence, Holly. I don't even know if it's a sir or given name, and I don't have access to the Union's file. Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but the point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around...
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
Oh, and what happened to yours,
Денюшка
detective?
хорошему стримеру, чтобы грустно не было.
Огромное спасибо. Ребят, чайку и почему? Как тебе вас рассказывать?
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. Oh, dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you get.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he...
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen...
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Of course. But before we do, officers, let me be perfectly clear. The situation is extremely volatile. The sooner we can speak about this lynching business, the better for all of us.
Похоже, вы богаты, дадите мне денег.
You have. And how did you like Mr. Clare? Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years? Corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic.
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt verm myself. How could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious?
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
Of course, Detective. Until then, is there anything I can help you with? Of course, Detective.
Ё-моё.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Bruder. Evening falls. The time has come to... The vows are blurred and flesh. Lower intestine. The term is metabolic and fascism, Brota. Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachur's problems? Yes, them. Women. Women. Men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Woo men need to go back to the fucking kitchen. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that woo men need to know their place. Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth. Because you've said the hard things that others won't say, the good things, you've said them many times. Okay, yes, let's call it that. Good thinking. That sounds much better.
Так они классно
Traditionalism.
обыграли эту
You
немецкую
like the
манеру
sound of
говорить.
that. You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota. There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines. Knocking. It is one of betrayal and disappointment.
Что?
Guillaume Le Million. Bad news. Guillaume Le Million did not become a cop. In 1938, he went on a tour to the Sinyao province in Safre, where he died of autoerotic asphyxiation. His body was found hanging from a decorative dragon tree in his junior suite amid drug paraphernalia, unwholesome objects, and the Sylvia Trainer single, Wonderland, skipping.
Так, вот это неплохая мысль, оставим ее. В принципе, пока что все это мне очень даже нравится.
Wow, you work hard. Oh, yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep... Oh, yeah, like a horse, a workhorse, for hard work. Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt. Moses. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride. A little. You make money. You got gills, babe. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop and a
И
sprinter.
коп из принтера, денежный принтер.
Sure, sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in? Are you rich? That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? Boo-hoo. The system is broken. The establishment is keeping me down. That's not the fuck yeah attitude you're used to. What is this? Why are you so poor? The Gart man has set himself up one of those self-replicating money structures. You should learn from it. Don't play the victim. Think, look, the immigrants are cool. The immigrants play cool music. Everyone likes them, especially the women. Don't hate on the immigrants. They've got nothing to do with you. Because of the taxes, G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk. Our tax is almost non-existent in the Gossamer state that is Revachol. You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax. This tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus, there's the stuff people in other countries pay for. 98% of all your money. Here you go, hustler. Fight the righteous fight. Free the people. Keep it real. Keep it street.
Так, ну что мы имеем? Нам, по сути, надо вернуться теперь назад в порт. А, мы можем еще вот с этой поговорить.
The streets will flow red once more, a great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
Go where? Accosting a minor?
Listen to your partner, pigman. Keep your grubby hooves off little old ladies.
A brush, an artist. The red splatter is urban expressionism.
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in some...
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko. Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from... I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Yeah? Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to...
She means the opposite. The lieutenant is desperately searching for another handkerchief. Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell. The woman on the boat does not notice.
That Ozon her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Revachol. Its moneyed residents used to posh restaurant.
On a first-name basis with her, are we? Piggy's moving up in the world. Have you got a crush on her? aching for an opportunity to defend. Watch your back.
Так, а у нас там кухня должна была открыться же, да? В ресторане. После часа. Надо попробовать сходить. Вдруг нас там накормят. Или что-нибудь еще произойдет. О, действительно открылось.
A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hole,
Карусель.
occasionally sipping from his mug. This must be the Whirling's cook. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely foreign language. Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Garancy Quebec. Please, it's not funny. The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air. The mention of mañana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar... The man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his. I'm pretty sure he asked you a question. He doesn't know your language. You can just say something cool in return.
Porsche need more vodka?
Больше водка.
Okay, so it's vodka that keeps the men happy and in good spirits.
Of course, vodka. Now that makes a very,
Yeah,
very
vodka.
special borscht indeed. Turn it up, and then turning it up seems like a dangerous idea. Honestly, the place is a powder keg. He smiles, nodding vigorously, then pours half a bottle of vodka into the pot. With a whistle, he stirs the brew. He smiles and bangs his ladle, and it's almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling and simmering on the stove.
Еще денежка.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads?
Манит меня ее кобальтовая синь.
It is quite pretty. I suppose we could look into it.
It's hardly a side investigation. You already have a name for it.
Зову это дело за синей дверью.
It's hardly worth a title. Anyway, Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
The cobalt blue surface feels rough to old cobalt paint, rough on the fingers. 40, 50, it leads to a side build. The door does not.
Так, а что у нас с борщом-то теперь? А все? Типа... Да, смотри, особый борщ завершено. Мы выполнили квест, ребята. Охренеть.
can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love those. Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10... Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust. Junk and dust.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing. He looks at the dust on his finger and wipes it off.
Yes? Yes. Have you got it? You must be joking, right? You come here, trash everything, and now you try to pay with a novelty check? This isn't a game show. I'm not going to accept it. You owe me cold, hard money.
You can cash it in at the local frit near the harbor gates, though it might not be enough to cover it.
A lot. A lot. For the room, drinks, and like what? I was really enjoying talking about the money you owe me.
То есть с чеком нас нагнули. А куда можно сбагрить все, что у меня есть? У меня же дохрена всяких предметов. Вот, например, вот эту вот карточку бы продать можно было, пустую катушку. Давайте-ка вот так вот переоденемся. Получше будет статы. Мне только один вопрос. Зачем мне карточка нужна? Ну, типа, дверь и так открыта. Карточка, уверен, не открывается. И почему у них начальник сидит в контейнере, если у них есть нормальный офис?
Mr. Dubois, every worker...
Сам за себя.
That's right, Mr. Dubois. I see the socialist democratic fervor now burns in your heart, too. How can I help you today? I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
He's trying to figure out if you're lying.
You're right, Harry. You only had to unlock the door, which you did. So we're all good here.
He was testing you. And you...
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry. This is... By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike...
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He performs a motion as if spraying...
I'm talking beasts. Hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant. Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Это логично.
About my fun container? It's a hoot, Harry. Who knows? Maybe you'll be in here the next time they move it. It will be very fun. But enough about me and my container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers.
Если бы мои имя так часто повторяли, я бы уебал, честно.
We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill. There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood. Making...
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And
Again, that sounds like organized.
So these idealists.
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill..." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid...
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after...
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error? Anyway.
А случаем вот эта девчонка, которая работала барменом, она и не адвокат?
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I
Liz.
paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal. How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company, after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
That does sound quite unlikely, yes. The big guy leading the scabs at the gate is
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members. Always working to advance their position. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets. You know what, Harry? I got a feeling they're gonna show up in full force tomorrow.
The lieutenant marks something in his notebook.
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right.
When you meet this Titus, tell him about this.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real. I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real. Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else? Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with this. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't... Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat. He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
Вот так.
Just between us, I don't care for those lefty dinks either. It's all about power, and here's how we're gonna get it. I need you to be my kingsman, Harry.
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta. I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground. On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry. They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre.
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Am I? Harry, these people, Martinez is the most important thing in my life. I would never let anything bad happen to them. We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their
Ай, как
property
красиво
goes up, and
стелет-то,
kids have a
а.
place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry. I'm looking out for all of Martinez, not just the harbour.
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very...
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martinez, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
He's saying as little as possible, as vaguely as he can, deliberately omitting things.
Ну, я так полагаю, у нас нету выбора, нам придется это сделать. Сохраниться нельзя. То есть, либо принимаем, либо отказываемся. А вот
Perfectly
откажусь.
acceptable. No one's gonna force you into anything, but I don't know about that gun of yours. You see, I'm a vengeful man, Harry. But the good news is, the moment you change your mind and want to look into this matter, just tell me, and we'll be buddies again.
The lieutenant's eyes meet yours, and he shrugs.
Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see. I hope you're getting along. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. We're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I'm helping you find your lost gun. I'm not a jealous guy. What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go. He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left. Harry! I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a... Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one is. We're pals. If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would.
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Yes, yes. Low balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here. But everything's a casino for those...
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing was over.
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
Harry, Harry, Harry. Do not fixate on this little matter. Maybe it was a rabbit stew, or a hairdryer, or an iron. The point is,
this particular brand of humor he has, it makes for a find.
It's perfectly okay. Even if you've told her... Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. It's perfectly okay. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, none of this. Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gun. Tell her about everything.
It is rather interesting to tell people things about each other, isn't it? It was nice telling him about her right now.
Most certainly, Harry. No, by all means, Harry. What's on... What? Oh, how could I forget your little side project? Well done, Harry. Well done. Don't even tell me what it was. But good job. I love it when workers take the initiative like this. Let's hear it, Harry. But of course, Harry. Your precinct is the 41st and you live in Jamrock. You're a Jamrock boy. A long way from...
He doesn't really seem to know any more about it.
Family? Harry, you're not a family man. There's not one peep of family in here. Unless you think you're a family man. Do you strike yourself as a family man, Harry? Well, yes. I'm sure you're going to make one little boy or a girl very happy and proud one day, Harry. Of course, Harry, of course.
Ну, то есть у нас не остается выбора, мы должны согласиться.
You wanted something from me. See you soon.
Выбора у нас нет. О, можно уровень повысить. Что мы можем повысить? Давайте, наверное, что-нибудь в физиологии. Давайте грубую силу повысим. Так, ну и что? Что мы можем-то? Угу. Тут мы ни хрена не можем. Ну, а вариантов-то у нас больше, по сути, и нету. Мы обошли все, что у нас доступно. Единственное, если только ждать 3-го дня и пытаться пробраться на ту сторону.
Mr. Dubois, you
Ну,
bring
давай.
joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here. You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the water lock, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I'll know you're a real Kingsman and a patriot.
Хорошо, а как мне жить до 3-го дня? Не можете открыть контейнер, поместите монтировку. Забухай.
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems... You're back before...
Что-то как-то не помогло. Точно в руку, ну да, там же было написано. Может, вместо ключа? Нет, туда не это. То есть, видишь, кубик выделяется. Ну, как во всех текстовых играх, где-то должен быть таймер, чтобы переждать время.
Right to work! Right to work! Sure. When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people. Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we have the...
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem. His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence. He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both. Silence is the answer. There's some... You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he...
What's it to you? Big mess, caused by union greed. But I only fight for the rights of people.
Every once in a while, it's like you can see glimpses of another guy under the guise of this fighter for jobs. He seems more brutal, cunning, and...
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? Uh-huh. It was a long time ago.
Как-то не шибко поменялись диалоги. О, монетки.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy grab-made machine is well kept for such an old machine. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with the driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor. A large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant, it is the seal of Royalist era Revachol. The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and with a book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large muscular man.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town.
Копеечки нашли. Этот Kindle. У нас, по сути, ничего не остается. Мы в тупике. Нам надо 3 дня чем-то заниматься, а чем хрен его пойми.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. Just a second. Sylvie Malaika on the line. Yes. Hello? Oh, great. What else do you need, detective? You mean, why did I leave the bar? Honestly,
Why not?
Let's just say I left because I needed to get away from someone. You know who? What? No, why would you even think that? Please, don't bring Gar into this. It's none of...
God, why can't you just mind your own business?
I already said I don't want to talk about this. You're messing everything up again. Uniform? I never saw you in any uniform. You had your things on. The disco things.
Куда бы доебался? Но мне надо же как-то.
You hear the...
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
10-4, come in.
Wait. Before you say anything stupid, think it through. Be smart about this.
10-4, sir, I'm not hearing your question.
Hold up, Jules. He doesn't fucking...
Seems like it, sir.
No, fuck him. Don't tell him anything. You understand?
Sorry, sir. Anything more I can do for you? Over.
What? What?
He wants to verify the information on his...
But of course, it says Dick Mullen, High General of the Revachol.
Tell him to stop wasting time.
What do you need, sir? Over. 10-9, repeat message. I didn't get that, sir. Over. Sir, I will not have you talk to me in this manner.
What? What is it?
He seems intoxicated and keeps it.
Mullen's drunk and emotionally aggressive.
Wrap it up. Don't indulge in his drunk.
10. Excuse me, sir? No, sir, I haven't. You're not really keen on mentioning your home life, so I've always... Understood, sir. Over. Roger that, 1010, over.
The white suede feels luxurious. Your fingers waste no time closing around the handle. Clutch disengaged. Release the handle. Clutch drops. Right foot yearns for the familiar touch of the accelerator pedal. You have synced with the machine's mechanicals. The smell of freshly treated leather. The lack of dirt and dust on the dashboard. And a neat little brush. I'm good. Cherished and cared for. You feel an uninterrupted connection to the mechanics. After a while, you realize silence is your only answer. Of course it's only in your head. Of course it is. But at the bottom of the sea. So strange. The machine is not on the bottom of the sea at all. It's right in front of you, well kept. The handle is pulled back. Somewhere deep inside the drivetrain, the disc in the cabin, you see a set of steering levers, a radio on a hook, a pull-out toolbox, and...
Мне интересно, в этом мире есть такие люди, как невинность, якому суждено определить ход истории. Но раз как определяются эти люди, как определить первого из них и что делали люди на других изовах.
Hello again, officer. How are things?
Так, давайте попробуем сходить сюда. Может быть, мы все-таки тут сможем купить этот шар. Дедам. А, не то пальто. Так, значит, нам надо вниз. Ну да, у нас ломбард уже внизу был. Конечно, может, сможешь ломануть ту хрень.
It's not often that I see officers from the army. What can I do?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
I haven't had any problems myself, though some of my customers have complained about it.
Who are your customers?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from. It keeps me entertained.
He's well composed, but underneath it you sense psychedelic processes bubbling. Some kind of drug, maybe.
О, я хочу кое-что продать.
Let me have a look. Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Вот оно. Ну, это копье. Да не, вряд ли.
Another time, perhaps. I doubt it, but I can try and answer it. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery.
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dance.
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God.
Твою мать.
The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another. Alert.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts vote on a mission. She didn't seem like a policeman. Although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit. Truth be told, she was...
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the Citizens Militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it? You're right that she could cast aspersions on the force. We have to find her.
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea...
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it right now. You'll just have to hope Everard wasn't lying, and the Union...
Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday, looking like they'd just taken off their Wild Pines overalls. They asked if I have a police weapon to sell. They went their way. It was a trip, but you know...
Wait, then it might be true. Everard...
Maybe Claire really is tracking down your gun.
People as oleaginous as Everard seem like this.
Of course. Sure thing. Sure, man.
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Parolidon. It's tough. A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature. I'm not offended, officer.
Так, а ну-ка, погоди.
Hello again. Have you tried it before?
The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of the knickknacks. He won't be your nog, but he won't be thrilled about this either.
Here you go, man. Of course.
Чё? Плюс 1 психика, минус 1 здоровье. Пусть будет. Так. Ну и что?
Yes. What do you want to know? I'm afraid you and I are pawns in a pissing competition. You don't know? I assumed you were in on it. Better still than an imbecilic cop-off. It's just stupidity. We shouldn't waste any more time on it. If you want my take, ask me after we've inspected the victim. Later. Was there anything else you wanted to know? Maybe you can tell me what you do know to help me narrow it down a bit. Then you are not that far behind, actually. Do you want me to brief you? 3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling in Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days. No one had come to investigate.
Глебов говорит, встреча. Ну, слушай, достаточно.
During that time,
Еще больших мы не встречали.
The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach the death as part of this dispute. A security guard or worker of some sort hired by Wild Pines. This was just hearsay from Martin. They didn't identify themselves in any way. The tone was muffled using a device of some sort. The desk could identify. There's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as union matters. The dock workers union is the de facto police in Martinez. Now it appears they've started executing too. We cannot allow that. That's us, the Revachol Citizens Militia. We're the police in this city.
The RCM, or the Revachol Citizens Militia, is the police force you and him are part of. A self-organized peace corps of the occupied city of Revachol. The RCM operates within a legal twilight, yet its authority is rarely questioned. It's super useful to know this.
Just to be clear, we are police officers. It's our job to find the killer. That's the case. Uncover and arrest the killer. No, it's not a particularly mysterious case. The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that. I'm relieved that you agree. Anyhow, let's get back to the case. Was there anything good?
No response. He's having trouble processing it, believing it even.
Have you tried concentrating on something other than your
There is a sudden, harsh edge to his voice, like he's tired of hearing about your personal affairs.
Focus on other people's troubles, not your own. That is a relief.
A moment passes. The lieutenant glances.
Me? I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation. That's a fair point. All right, for the good of the investigation. That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul. So was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's not an interesting topic. It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity and a geographic division. I told you it wouldn't be interesting.
Seoul is a protectionist, isolationist, pan-Isolari state west of the Insulindian Isola. Actually, it's quite interesting. Some would even say...
I can see you're disappointed. You are right to be. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents. I've never been to Seoul. I'm
a point of pride to him.
That's correct.
You feel a slight urge to put the lieutenant down for this. But you can't quite muster enough testosterone.
Are they? They are mostly just cumbersome. Good. Let's change. Excuse me? Detective, if I may be frank, you seem to be in a deranged state. You have trouble remembering things. You've misplaced your badge. I cannot let you act in the name of the RCM without supervision until you've regained control of your Some you time? This is a police investigation, not a journey of self-discovery. You'll still have your evenings to yourself.
A moment passes. The lieutenant glances.
Мусорка, 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 мусорка. Не может ли наш ствол валяться где-нибудь в мусорке? Вообще нам надо купить пакет. Интересно, в продуктовом мне вместе с покупкой дадут пакет?
The curtains, tattered with age and covered in... You see a dimly lit...
I warned you! You're unleashing forces beyond your...
A heavy door with a missing handle stands
Ну
before
нет,
you,
тут болевой порог на
in
12
dozens,
надо.
if not hundreds, of semi...
Давайте еще тут пошатаемся.
A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes. A little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vaguely uncomfortable. There's something disdainful in the way the curves and lines of the... It looks like the artist is celebrating diversity, but underneath, he's just making fun of these people. Of course, you slippery bastard. The lieutenant picks up one of the mugs. Then
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
this is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty. This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag.
Mm-hmm. The tenant is an old-fashioned guy.
А тут случаем не тот старый дед
By
живет?
old-fashioned, he means very right-wing. The lieutenant does not bow to the flag. It accepts.
Интересно. А тут спрыгнуть можно?
A stone, like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet, and there's a key beneath it, rusty from the dirt.
This must be for the front door. Pity it doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has hundreds.
Руберешь ни шаг назад, пон-пон, потапон. Накрыл Андрюш.
We'll just have to go in and see.
Игра просто удовлетворяет мои нереализованные чувства и желания. Ну что я могу поделать? Какая? Потапон? У тебя есть нереализованное желание топать и махать палками? Смотри, действительно ночь наступает. Темно становится. Кто-то выращивает розмарин, чабрец и кактус. А почему номер 28 не забудешь? Похуй, салатный балкош. Не хватает денег, поместите в активный инвентарь полиэтиленовый пакет. Где ж его взять-то? Не знаю, зачем я взял в руки фонарик.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says no. You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture.
Есть у нас вот тут две квартиры, в которых можно что-то. Опечатано, говорите?
What happened here? It will still be accessible through the apartment next to it. That one didn't have a door. Sadly, nothing of great value remains here. Indeed.
Приветствую, лисенок. Добро пожаловать. Какой смысл от фонарика? А, я не знаю. Тебе нормально? Замок заржавел. Войти не получится, говорит нам игра. Ким Кицураги. Да, мне пофигу. Полили труп в холодильнике, всех убил садовник, пошли играть в Геншин. В этом прикольно пищите и умеряете. В смысле Сидни? Не работает дверца. А, подожди, а если взять... О! О! Можно меня посмотреть? Мне давно хочется посмотреть, как кому-то больно. Ну чё, привет!
Ooh, the piggies have learned how to saunter up staircases. I didn't think you could do that with hooves. But here you are. Yeah, you got me now. The dynamic between us has completely changed.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. Red-dyed heavy fuel oil is only used in government vehicles, or at least that's the idea.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock. You ain't seen nothing yet, Piggy Boo. Ooh. Not only have you found my address, you've discovered my biggest secret.
She does have eyes that seem to be smeared with coal.
Yes, I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me, but somehow it never happens. Does anyone in a city like this? It doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now, I'm doing nothing.
The inspiration will come to her once hell is set loose on the streets.
Shoot, Piggy. It's what you do, isn't it?
Пошлите поболтаем с уборщицей. Садовника у нас... А, не, у нас есть садовник, кстати. Но мы пойдем поболтаем с уборщицей.
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis. I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me. Now, what do you want from me, police?
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
I'm no one. Just an old woman who... If you can call it living. I have a little room upstairs right next to the coal room.
It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching...
She hasn't spoken to anyone for a while. Even her sentences feel rusty.
Ask away, policeman. The hell am I supposed to know? Another nut job, I assume. Some lunatic lost his mind. All kinds of morons pass through these halls. People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone.
Значит, Диме грузить блендер с евро придется ему там уж. Ух, как больно. Медведь все ушел в массу. Что, где, почему я этого не узнал? Последний раз видел его нафиг. Нет, ты его не отмоешь уже.
They probably just moved or died.
No one lives there. It's been empty for months. Impossible. I would know if someone had moved in there. Maybe it's those countercultural people again. Breaking into a house like it's a public space. You're a policeman. Be good and... Great. Young people. Oh, that one is a scientist. A future I think he studies astrology at the community college. Education's something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall. That's what I said. Astrology.
The lieutenant shakes his head, as though to say, let it go.
The artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She ruins the walls faster than I can clean them. Still, she leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can say for others.
She mumbles, some kind.
Yes, yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil.
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a...
What's he in trouble for? Talk?
What was so funny about that?
He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if it...
Так, это все, конечно, хорошо. А куда вот этот выход ведет? Понятно. Астрологию, значит, говорит, изучает, да?
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The walking stops abruptly, but a poor communard from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant? I'm not obligated to open...
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get in.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason.
Excuse me? Of course not.
You have plenty of reason to enter.
Oh, come on.
Well, that was easy.
That was smart.
Давайте-ка я сохранюсь. Я что-то в последнее время какой-то подозрительный. Зачем тебе 10-я квартира? Тебе... О, туфли.
Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I am not breaking in, as I have every right to be here. the key.
Boy, there are a lot of different keys there.
Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too?
It feels flimsy in hand, with the words Revachol Zone of Control written under a nondescript municipal logo. There's a picture of her with shorter hair inside, along with all her...
Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Midtown in an hour. I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place. It was some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a business owner. You'd think they...
A sudden serious look crosses her face.
But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted, or is that it? Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. 3. We closed the... And again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. But Ron, when he came to close the door, didn't close the neighboring door. And there's a hole in the wall.
Ну, там подозрительно хищная улыбка. Нормально. Ты еще начальника порта не видела. Представителя профсоюза.
The tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone. The money's gone. Just like that.
The sum must have been puny.
These apartments are perfectly fine. They have gorgeous architecture, a million-real view of the bay, good ventilation, neighbors, light. I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to blossom with artists and creatives and those radio...
Да, радиокомпьютерных волшебников.
Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea. Both apartments are now unrentable. Both. It is. Everyone says the real estate agents don't do anything. But here I am. So the sooner we get this over, of course.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11.
Иди к уборщице. А, ну да.
Give me a moment. I see. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them.
Никто не приедет, нас ждет одна лишь нищета запустения, пока мы не начнем убивать риэлтора. Я вот уже даже монтировочку для этого достал.
Oh, I do like wizards. And people like that in general.
She means clairvoyance. This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk... No reply. No reply.
Но, в принципе, логично. Замок-то снаружи.
No reply. No reply. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise. This door has been closed with a padlock. What are you doing? You're trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters, and it's really not working.
I believe it's the shackle you mean to cut, Detective. Perhaps you should give it another go.
+1 Ким показал нас кабу.
The shackle snaps like a twig, and the lock falls to the...
After you, detective.
Нифига себе тут.
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. The name on the plinth reads Kraz Mazov. Kraz Mazov, nom de guerre, was an economist and a theoretical historian. He was a leading figure in the Grad side of the turn-of-the-century revolution, where he headed the 9-day government. Mazov is considered the father of scientific communism, Mazovian thought, or Mazovianism.
The White Star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting. I suspect that's exactly what they are trying to do. There aren't many communists around, not after the revolution. Some youth still keep the idea.
А, ну а тут мы были, да? Да. Так, тогда нам теперь на балкон. И в 28-ю квартиру. Которую почему-то... Разве такую забудешь? Так, погоди. А что у нас тут было? А, можно вот тут теперь открыть. Мелочь какая. Ну-ка, назад есть монтировку взять. Просто дверь.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Number 28. This is where the cleaning...
Let's see if anyone's home. Knock on the door.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening. We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good? The smoker on the balcony. This is why we're here, right? He might know something about the murder.
Don't worry. It's mostly all still here. You can remember things.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28. Good.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big apartment building. Don't worry. Remember, tomorrow. He's probably gone. No one answers.
We should return tomorrow.
Но почему завтра? И где мне коротать время до завтра? Нужно убить время, купите книгу. Когда читаешь, время быстро. Типа, купить книгу, чтобы время перематывать?
Trying to sneak up on me again? Trying to snap...
Ну, давайте поговорим со стеной.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. You have no clue. It's just a wall. So many walls all over Martinez, weather-worn, cracked, their paint peeling.
Облом. Где пакет достать? Я бы все бутылки перетаскал.
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle. Why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
There was a revitalization project in 49. A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. It didn't stick. They got as far as the street lamps and that statue on the intersection before something went sour. I suspect it was Evrard's class doing. He muscled them out. It's how it usually goes around here. We should have done something about the Union 10 years ago. That ship has sailed, officer.
А давайте
Your money
посмотрим.
disappears into the coin slot. A clunk. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry. Different blues and greens. The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible. A half-sunken sea fort. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
Так, ну тут делать нечего. Может попробовать с трупом пообщаться? Или вот с этим упырем?
Fuck does Kuno care? Yeah, like a fucking volcano?
Yeah. You're lucky you didn't die there.
Идите вы, говорит, оба в жопу.
Yeah. Kuno's got some advice for you. What are you? Like 80, right? Maybe you should stop embarrassing your...
Perhaps you could compress this negative energy and turn it into some sort of a Kuno-fied non-vomiter.
Квалифицированный антиблеватель.
Don't ask questions. That's right. Turn your weaknesses into conceptual strengths. Try it again now.
Kuno doesn't fucking...
There he still is, looking right through you with his red eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to again. But every time it happens, it gets worse and worse. There's nothing more to throw up now. All that's left is crying and convulsing dryly at the same time.
Мне нельзя играть в игры с использованием.
I'm at a loss as well.
Sometimes even that is not enough.
Officer, you just need to be stronger. Learn to keep it in.
You can open this white check again by going to your character sheet and spending a skill point to upgrade your endurance. Gain new skill points
Так,
by
куда?
exploring and
Стойкость.
completing side tasks.
There he still is, looking as you breathe
Ну,
in, the
наконец-то.
odor comes over you. It's a spell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your hands at your sides and your eyes squinting, it's a puzzle. What's hanging in front of you is a puzzle of decay.
They do after 7 days.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enameled boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins, and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The cargo, the material, appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore thick polymer socks, probably for padding. A fine array of interlocking plates covers, delicate and fragile. They feel alien to the world around you, out of place somehow. These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set.
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots.
Oh, the lieutenant uses a memo technique A6. That's not just any notebook. It's a classic. It's clearly some manner of super armor. Or future armor? Super future armor? I'm useless.
Ceramic plate. Zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where the make would be. Under the hill. Fair weather. Fair weather model T500VE. I'm guessing that's vitreous enamel. This is advanced stuff. Piece by piece. He's been out here for 7 days. It would be odd if they didn't. We should keep a lookout for these pieces. The armor could yield information. Maybe he'll know something. No, he must have worn something precious underneath his clothes. They've removed all his clothes to get to it. They did not just strip him for the putrid rags. They usually hang them completely naked for that. La puta madre, the Mazda, the Besmerties and the like.
Fucking talking about underpants.
Clearly, Kuno would like to interject something here, but there's not enough for him to hold on to.
It is. It's expensive. We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too costly. In that time, we've lost 6 men to semi-automatics. For a full set, about 4 years of wages.
For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,500 rial, unadjusted for rank.
Not too much, yes.
The lieutenant nods, wiping his finger on his sleeve.
Looks like he worked for a private contractor, like Evrard told us. Wealthy, with state ties. This is way above what we have.
A small bell-like sound fills the air, like tapping. The pry bar in your hand is itching for some action.
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally, from plate to plate, dissipating it entirely.
Faint, organic lines cover the plates, where they separate into smaller ones. These plates then divide into smaller plates, like whirls of floorboards. The design looks organic, influenced by highly resistant wood materials, like lignum vitae. If trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections would look like. The smooth, glossy surface fractures into ever more intricate interconnections, peaking on the right sabaton. The whirls are in the shape of a letter and number combination, E50, 100, 1000.
Good. Can you read it to me?
X5415 6745 678222.
We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done. Either station can chase it for us.
The stench fills your nostrils as you push.
Stop! Pig's gonna pull his head off.
Brutal!
You're about to pull his head off.
Do it, homo!
Yes, that's what I said. You'll compromise the coroner's case if...
Indeed. From this angle, it does look like the neck isn't going to take much more. Being dead for a week is all...
What are you trying
No,
to
what?
achieve anyway? Why are you hanging on to that boot? For a full set of armor, I wouldn't blame you. But these boots are hardly worth a disciplinary hearing. There are better ways to pay a hostel bill. There's no way you're getting them off. All the organic matter in his body has been flowing down into the boots. They are fused to his feet now.
You're sure there's a way to peel them off. But first, the body needs to be down. And second, it would probably be better if the lieutenant wasn't around.
По-любому честь
All right,
дороже.
then. You can pay the hostel bill in
Вы его
honor
смотрели, не
points.
сняв с петли.
How
Кого это
many
волнует
honor
вообще?
points have you collected?
Processing will take care of them. With the situation in the morgue, it will yield nothing. But we must pick our fights. Should we continue?
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt.
По-любому,
His
если мы в
torso
приступе
covered in
голодной ярости
tattoos
всех убьем.
and
Да.
extremities blotched pink and blue. The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, a sliding buckle ties the belt. This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt, big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo under 6-rotor airships.
Airlifting. I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them. The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves. I was afraid it would be. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had assumed. I'm still approaching this as a lynching, yes, motivated by the ongoing strike. You? 70% of the cases I get are just filling in the blanks on the initial report. This belt worries me. A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around. That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the buckle.
Could be. The shape of the branch supports the theory. The cadaver hangs from an intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso. From the right shoulder to the solar plexus.
Это татуировки, я
Each
думал, это
time they
грязь.
intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart.
A map of the stars. I do see some similarity to astronomical charts. Great Century Messinian, maybe. But this seems more particular.
As if someone left out most of the night sky, filtering it through personal choice. The principle of this filter remains unknown to you. The thought.
So am I.
He wears a wide leather belt around his waist. He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sounds like a sword being unsheathed. A small lens appears.
A Trigger Sunshine Mini.
Triggered is the world's leading manufacturer of intercommunication devices, primarily projectors.
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
An instant color camera. I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper, rolling out.
In case we need it. Yes, it is pretty cool, isn't it?
There is only one ampoule left. Use
it. Contains insight to the victim's person. This was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter to us.
Когда интересовал вопрос, почему все люди думают, что татуировка это какой-то посыл.
Here, a souvenir. Don't lose it.
The glassy-eyed corpse looks by, his mouth mute and his skin as colorful as the chemical rainbow on the photo paper, teeming with opportunistic organisms.
You've acquired an interactable item. Investigate this item further by going to the...
His eyes are milky white and blind to the world. Protruding comic dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is an unrecognizable mess. The corpse looks right through you. As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you. This is a trick. You've done it before. Pink is where the blood settled in the first hours post-mortem. You can use it to see if the corpse has been tampered with. Does his position at the time of death? Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck, just above the noose. The rest of the corpse appears dark green.
I see it. His neck too. The lividity goes right up his chin. We have good, well-pronounced discoloration.
The monster comes back into focus. An explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins. His stomach appears pregnant with some...
So, what do you think?
Я думаю, что он труп.
I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them. The delinquents have made our jobs harder with their little sport.
Stop talking in riddles, coin slot.
He means you fucked him up good, Kuno. Fucked him up brutal-like.
Agreed. Especially on the neck. The belt acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head. The hypostasis supports a hanging. There's always a chance. We should check for ligament marks on his neck to see if they're in tune with the belt. We'll have to get him down first.
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen mud below the man's feet. Purge liquid is dripping into it.
The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilogram of digestion at the time of...
The fuck he's saying?
Talking about shit.
Maybe. I agree.
His personality is no longer a part.
Totally dead.
Топ, 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 топ.
Absolutely.
But there is no breath to catch. Only the cadaver filling...
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's done.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt. His torso covered in tattoos and extremities.
Но тут бесполезно что-либо делать.
The steel-reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters.
He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique. He thinks it's frustrating and not...
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material. Climb up there and saw the branch? There has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees. Someone else? You mean like...
What was that about processing, then? Weren't they supposed to take care of the boots? Why don't they help?
No. Think of the boys from processing as murderers. Only instead of people, they murder crime scenes. Processing is a wrecking crew. They know how to commission off items and how to work the incinerator in the morning. I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others won't come to help us. And we have a growing sanitary concern here. We need to get him down, fast. I was really hoping we wouldn't. The Union appeared to be suspect in this case.
I would really prefer if there was another way. These people might have an agenda. But what other options? The corpse twists on the belt, like chicken on a skewer.
We are not getting him down already. Not getting him down is a task that's already accomplished. Sadly, it's not our job to keep him up there, but to get...
How do you plan to get him down then? With social sensibility? Are you going to educate him down?
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his head off!
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch. That's a good spot to aim.
Where? Ah, yes, I see. If the shot hits that, there might be a chance to...
Yeah, now we're talking. Entertain a Kuno with some shit.
They'll miss! The pigs will miss Kuno!
Silence, with his elbow sharp, and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks, securing it in place.
Только не сам, пожалуйста, знаем мы твою удачу.
That's a Kiel A9090 Armistice, mass-produced muzzleloader, ascetic, frugal, one of them. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's Stess position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches. His finger is on the trigger.
He's gonna fucking miss!
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding tenements. A cloud of smoke slowly parts.
God damn it.
A lot of things were wrong with that shot. The fellow Stess was the wrong choice. His shoulders were raised, but above all...
Fucking idiot! Mookabat asshole!
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he? Kuno's sorry too. Kuno feels sorry for the Beano Cloud.
The lieutenant doesn't say a word, just looks at the gun in his hand.
No, we are lucky as it is. We didn't break anything, and the victim remains uncompromised. Any more mistakes could put us in an unfortunate position with the locals. We have eyes on us. I didn't do us any favors with that. I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down with...
You know, you don't feel like too bad of a shot yourself.
It's bad as it is. Us shooting firearms like punks. Go ahead, I'm not stopping you. Just don't lose it.
They only have one gun!
This is the sorriest pair of pigs.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banani poika! Take it and shoot yourself in the mouth!
The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal is surprisingly light. Your fingers fit right through the gun. You've held this, an A9 Armistice, before. At some...
The fuck are you waiting for, Kuno? Tell him to shoot himself in the mouth!
The buckle comes into focus in your sights. You stand with your feet planted firm.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss. Or what? You gonna fuck me? You wanna fuck me, pig? Is that what this is about?
Да, направить на нее пистолет.
Your field of view narrows. The branch slowly moves, becoming entirely two-dimensional. The slow movement of the branch in the wind, and your shoulders directing the guns.
Look, he's crying. You gonna cry now, fucking faggoty?
Это беспонтово. Повысить уровень я не могу. Давай. Ну да, конечно.
A plume of smoke erupts from the barrel. Your hand goes numb from the explosion. You missed the belt, but hit the corpse straight in the chest. Bits of ribcage protrude from the skin. No blood. Only a murky sludge dripping down.
Oh my god, he's gonna fucking cry! I knew it!
Ask for another shot. You'll get it with the next one. The goddamn light reflected off some window. Surely.
Смотри, ведь ты же очень чувствительный.
I agree. Police work is overrated. It is trying and stressful. However, it is still our job to get the dead.
It's not the gun's fault you can't shoot. It's your pig hands.
Pigs don't have hands. They have, like, fucking...
Kuno has hands. Kuno can shoot that shit down for you.
That's preposterous! What are you, a fucking earl?
We still need to get him down somehow. The bad way. The way I didn't want us to. By asking the harbor for help. They have the tools and the men. If to ask the suspects for help with the victim's body, to be indebted to Everard Clare? Very much, yes. Clearly we can't.
Suck my dick, bitches!
Hooray for us.
Oh.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year. You should take care of that, then. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street. We'll figure.
Он устал. Ничего себе тут дискач. А, с этими... А, вот с этим можно пообщаться. Этот все еще спит.
That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already? Oh, excuse me. Do you have something better to do than lust for sweet syrupy rum and lemonade? With a twist of lemon? Maybe lime. Maybe who cares? Just rum.
Все, хватит бухать. Мы и так пробухали удостоверение.
Can I help you?
Ну и? Давай. Жги. И мозги. И все в целом.
The door is closed. This door can only be opened with a key or from the inside. The door is closed. Still nothing. The lieutenant gives you a...
А, закрыто, все, я теперь туда попасть типа не могу.
Can I help you? Absolutely out.
Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad bang. Your body is ready, sire.
Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I understand your predicament as the manager. I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects...
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and... I mean no offense, it's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment.
Мне кажется... И тут стенки показывают. Там Ван Иванович в Unreal ставит стенки и удаляет, потом опять ставит и удаляет. Очень увлекательный процесс, релакс просто.
Good luck trying to use it.
Draconian measures.
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock. Not until you bring me the money.
Okay, I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Что у тебя там может найтись? Пара миллионов?
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against...
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal. There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
Honestly, that sounds like an amazing physics demonstration.
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high. I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence. That they are. I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back. No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark. The spinners shine so bright they...
All right, let's not take them now. Then come back once we realize we have to. Have this conversation again, and then take them.
Sounds likely.
Ну нет. Я не буду забирать его колпаки. Я вон пойду куплю книжку и буду перематывать время.
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already... As a police officer, you must understand that, like, evidence being money, you can't stay here without money. Oh, wonderful. Try to do that. I'll have to call you an ambulance. Not until you...
Okay, I might...
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Так, ладно, ребят, давайте на этом остановимся. Продолжим в следующий раз. Возможно, мы сможем насобирать деньги и расплатиться с ним все-таки. Вообще, я не понимаю, почему мы не можем, скажем так, половину продать. Ну, оплатить там, то есть. Очень странно. Все очень-очень странно. В общем, дорогие мои друзья, на этом наш стрим подходит к концу. Всем, кто присутствовал, огромное спасибо. Всем удачи. Всем пока-пока.